Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So today's topic is hemoglobin. And what we'll be starting is we'll draw actually the entire structure of hemoglobin. Because once you understand that, the rest of the topic will become very easy. You'll be understanding that what effect white red colors, positive, negative, everything will be crystal clear. And this topic is so important even from the perspective of any exam. So whether it is USMLE or it is this FMG or next exam or PLAB or Australian exam, any of the exam. Today's topic is such that you will definitely 100% some questions they invariably come. Practically speaking, very important from the perspective of clinics. So today we'll be talking about certain diseases also. I'll explain in brief about what really happens in those diseases. Though we'll not be going into the extreme details like that what type of medicines are used. Right? So we'll not be touching the pharmacology part very much. We'll just take it very brief. But at least you'll be having a very clear understanding that why we are learning this particular topic. So to start with, I'll give you few minutes. You should be having this much. One, the paper on which we print, right? Or a full page, but preferably a blank page. If it is there, very good. If it is not, then any full page is okay. And at least one pencil. I mean, I need 3 colors, right? 3 colors. One pencil, one and 2 pen of different color, even that would be fine. Worst, if it is not there, no worries. Just take one pen, even that is okay. But if you have got more, right, you will understand that why it is so interesting. Whatever I draw with me. We'll plan the revision. Because there has been so many emails. Some of the email, there were multiple emails regarding that when can we have that fitness session, which I told you about 2 months back. Well, we have not yet planned it, but yes, as per everyone's wish, right, we can have one. This. Then there were few emails about that when I talked to you about the finance part. Yes, that is also you should learn. And third one was regarding the neuro-linguistic programming, and something which increases your performance. Regarding one class in which we'll be going for the full revision, that can be planned. That will plan once we complete the respiratory system. Right? So we'll take the revision of this respiratory system once we complete this entire. As such, if you have noticed, all the topics, they are independent topics. So even if someone has not attended any of the previous lecture, but straight away, if he or she focuses on what is getting done, that would be fine, right? Because today's topic is also like a topic. Okay, so let's start with drawing the hemoglobin. So that is the topic for today, the hemoglobin, which we write like H. Hemoglobin. One lecture for USMLE. USMLE, I'm not very keen initially because it's long time. You have got so much of time. How many more lectures to finish? Yes. So at least there would be another 3 lectures. At least. Okay. So hemoglobin, the journey starts with RBC, red blood cells. Right? They are also called as the erythrocyte. They are also called as the erythrocyte. So erythro stands for red and cyte means cells. Right? Similarly, when there is leukocyte, so leuko means white and cells means cells, right? Cyte means cells. So they are the white blood cells. But today we'll be focusing on RBC. So these are the erythrocytes. Right? And our kidneys, they produce one very, very important this erythropoietin. erythropoiesis. It is because of this erythropoiesis, that is the RBC production, that is with the help of the enzyme released by the kidneys. And once this erythropoiesis, that means the RBC production, but it affects on bones. Right? So it is, because our entire factory is the bone marrow. So this erythropoiesis or the RBC production, red blood cells production, that is in the bones. And in that, the specialty of this RBC is, red blood cell, is that they don't have, there is no nucleus. There is no mitochondria. Second, RBCs, though they are carrying oxygen molecules, but they can't use it. They can't use it because there is no mitochondria. It is the mitochondria who uses the oxygen. Any of the other questions will take it later. So no mitochondria, that means RBC won't be able to use oxygen. Because when we say oxygen, that means it is what it is called as the aerobic metabolism. Aerobic, in presence of oxygen. And that thing is done in mitochondria. When the mitochondria itself is not there, then who will do it? So not possible. Right? So that's why it has to rely on anaerobic mechanism, and that is glycolysis. So it is with the help of glycolysis, RBC will be getting energy. So see the thing, RBC is carrying oxygen for everyone in the body, every tissue in the body, but can't use it by itself. So this makes it extremely important, because otherwise if RBC will start using it, so then other tissues, they will be getting less oxygen. So that's the basic setup. And now we see, say for the hemoglobin, theoretically, it is said that there is iron molecule in between and surrounding there is a pyrrole ring, and all these things, they look so crazy. We find it so difficult to understand that what is allosteric effect. Kaha gaya? Matlab, where is the iron binding? Where is the oxygen getting bound? Why it is happening that one is helping other, etc. That's why, in order to understand it, we just draw it. Right? So draw along with me and try to remember the steps, or I'll write the steps also. So that every day, at least if you practice just for 3-4 times, just within a day or two, you'll be knowing the complete hemoglobin structure. And there are multiple questions which will come from. So let's start with that. What would be our action? What will we do? So first thing what we'll be doing is, we'll write iron in between. So iron is the center. So let's make it in slightly different. There is one, this is what is called as the, and right, this ring, this is called as the pyrrole. But here, so we'll first draw 4 pyrrole rings separate. Then we'll see the numbering system. In numbering system, focus on the outer ring. There would be 2 rings. So first our focus will be on outer ring, and this outer ring will be having 8 points. So we'll name those 8 points. Right? Our third step would be, now this is very specific. There is one group, what is called as the CH3. CH3 is nothing but it is a methyl. So once we have numbered the entire ring, so 1, 3, 5, and 8, these will be the spots on which we'll be placing the methyl ring. Then there would be vinyl ring. There will be vinyl group. So this vinyl group, which will be placing, this is like CH, CH2 double bond, right? CH double bond, CH2. This vinyl group 1358 we have used. So we'll be putting now it on 2 and 4. Then there would be one more, and that group is called as the propionic acid. Propionic acid. So this propionic acid will be putting out what is left out, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 are left out. We'll be putting it on 6 and 7, right? This is CH2, CH2, COH. So this is where we'll be putting. So thus we have occupied 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all outer positions locked. Right? The next is we have to connect inner ring. So then it will come to the inner ring, and inner ring will be connected with CH. Inner will be using CH to connect the inner ring. Then we have to make the bonds. The bonds, they are into the resonance bond. They are called as the resonance bond. Resonance means what? Resonance means one is single, one is double. One is single, one is double. So this. The best part is start from anywhere. So start from anywhere to perfect. That's very nice. And then finally, last 8 point would be placement of central. So it looks complex, but in reality, very easy. Why this question has come? Which topic? Topic is hemoglobin. So let's start with, now draw along with me. First, exactly right, with some space, N. Right. Draw with me, then make this. We are discussing hemoglobin, and what we are drawing is the hemoglobin structure. I already given the points, right, all the points that, and this was the description about that what exactly is RBC, erythrocyte, red blood cells. Right? Kidney secretes that enzyme which stimulates erythropoiesis that occurs in bone, right? And in RBC, there is no nucleus, no mitochondria. That means it cannot use oxygen cannot be used. So that's why it cannot have the aerobic metabolism. That's why it will be going for anaerobic. That is in the absence of oxygen, and that is the glycolysis, which we'll be discussing today. Right? It will come. And technically speaking, hemoglobin is something which is having iron at the center, and there are pyrrole rings and some other structures which are surrounding. Though it looks like normally people just cram it, what we are doing is we are actually drawing it. Once you draw every structure, every component has got its importance, and that is what we are trying to understand. One more thing, the life of the RBC is 120 days. So after every 120 days, your entire blood is getting replenished. That means it is now the fresh blood which you are having. Right? So every 120 days. This number, importance of this number, as we'll see, as we'll proceed, right? It's of great importance. That means if anything happens to 120, it happens to RBC, after 120 days, in any case, it will be discovered that the RBC that will be broken, it will be eaten out of the system. These are the steps, right? So I'm not repeating these steps. We'll draw, we'll automatically understand. So we keep on checking it. So let's start with first thing, and we are about to draw our first point, that is the drawing of 4 pyrrole rings. So we just drew N, and then we have drawn this, and let's complete this. Just complete it. Very simple. Right now, we are not worrying about where will be the double bond and where will be the single bond, which is straight away simple line. Done. So this is done. Now, our second step is what? Second step is at position. So numbering system. This is our next step. Outer ring, it is having 8 points. So here is the outer ring. See, this is how we see. So this is, if I really draw, right? You don't draw this. This is just for the explanation. Only the outer rings. Only the outer rings. It is touching only the outer rings. So this will be the outer ring. And then we'll be talking about the inner ring. Not now, just after a few minutes. So that inner ring, that will be going from here to here, here to here, here to here. And then in between, there will be the iron. Now I do this, oh. So let's number them. Start from anywhere you want. So let's say this is 1, this one would be 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, that's 6, this one 7, and 8. So we have to connect that CH3 at 1, 3, 5, and 8. CH3, that's our next step. Methyl group, CH3 is to be added at 1, 3, 5, 8. So here it is, this CH3. 1, 2, this is CH3, 4, this is 5, 6, 7, 8. This step, this is done. CH3 methyl group. The next step is the vinyl group. CH double bond CH2, that is at 2 and 4. So that's our 2. So it is CH double bond CH2, 2 and 4 here. CH double bond CH2. Done. And we move on to the third one. Third position, that is at 6, 6, 7, because only that much is left out, and that's the propionic acid. So CH2, CH2, COH, right? So this is the 6 and 7. 6 and 7. So here it is CH2, PH, C, PH2, CH2, COH. Right? So here also PH2, CH2, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all done. Right? Our next step is the inner ring is to be fulfilled. So inner ring is to be connected. So we drew the inner ring. So here it is CH, right? Then inner ring CH, this one CH, this one CH. Now it's forming the structure. The next one. Now we'll be making the bonds. Just one single, one double, one single, one double. So start from any point. Let's start from this point. You can start from any point. So one single bond, right? So this is one double. So this one is now we don't draw it. This is single. Then one double, right? This is single. Then double, then single, then double, and this is single. Then, so see, we are just moving. We shall be moving on this line. This line. Correct. So outer line. So double, single, then again the double, single, double bond, single, double, single. This is double, single, double, single, double, single, and the double has come. So now everything is. Now we are not recording. So this is how this part goes. The only thing which is left out is now the iron ring. So this is last, the iron which will be placed in the center. So that one will be placed. Center, just connect it. Strong bond, weak bond. This is the structure. This is why that when you do it, so practice it twice, thrice, as much as possible. This will be very important in our entire medical life. Everyone has done it. I hope there is no problem. All good? In case of any confusion, we have written all the steps. And in case of right now, if there is any confusion, just like okay. So let's start now with the theory part. Now we know that how to provide. So that means when we talk about hemoglobin, easy to say that there would be two parts. One will be the heme part, right? And second one would be the globin part. Globin is what? Polypeptide. This is polypeptide. Polypeptide means this is a right? This one is a and this protein it has got 4 chains. There would be 4 chains in 2 pairs. The structure which we do, there are such multiple structures there, and collectively they will be making the full hemoglobin. So this is the heme. This is like a molecule, and this is not protein. Right? These globin part, these are the proteins. This protein, this is protein. This protein is of utmost importance. There are 4 different types of chains. Now, actually, what we are now learning is we are going into the full and complete depth of hemoglobin because we'll be incorporating many of the diseases also. So, alpha, beta, these are the main. Then comes the gamma and then the delta. So, we have got 4 types of chains: alpha, beta, gamma, and delta. Right? These chains, they will be actually making different types of proteins. Right? All those types of proteins which are used in either the adult or they are used into the fetal life. So from the see now the combination. Right? These are the types of hemoglobin. So first type, which we say adult type. Right? This is the adult type. So most of the human. Right? This is the first type, which is the adult type, and it is called as the hemoglobin A. A stands for, you can say, adult, simple, adult. And this is the most common, and it is made with a combination of these first 2. So that's why there are 2 alpha chains and 2 beta chains. So it is called as alpha 2, beta 2. This is the most common. Almost 95% of our blood is having this particular alpha 2, beta 2 hemoglobin type A. This is the first one. The second one, again, this is also the adult type. But this is the adult type. It's called as adult type 2. So obviously we'll be naming it like hemoglobin A2. Right? This is present in the rest of the cases, right? About say 2 to 3%. It's very small quantity. And this is made with a combination of alpha 2 and last one. Is the alpha 2 and the delta 2. It is with the combination of alpha and the delta. This one was made by alpha and the beta. This is alpha 2, delta 2. Just in a minute, we'll see the importance of it. But the third one is very special. This third one, this is what we call as the fetal hemoglobin. So that's why it is named as hemoglobin F, fetal hemoglobin. Now in fetal hemoglobin, that fetus has to develop. It has to develop with the help of the blood which is coming from the mother. But that blood, as it comes, actually, when we will see it in the fetal circulation, we find that it is the complete mixed blood. Fetus is not getting pure oxygen-rich blood. It is always a mixture. So for his entire 9 months, he or she is using that mixed blood only, and within that blood only, it survives, grows, becomes big, takes birth. So that's why when it is like mixed blood, we have to really, in a fetal life, we have to really search for that where is oxygen. So we should be having tremendous affinity, that is tremendous love for the oxygen. Wherever the oxygen is, just grab it so that we can use it. So that's why this is also called as the fetal hemoglobin, fetal type. And this is where this gamma comes into picture. This is the alpha 2 gamma. So these are the 3 major types of protein. Now, out of this adult type of protein, in any case, we are discussing. But first, we need to talk about fetal hemoglobin, right? Because it has got tremendous specialities. Fetal hemoglobin. Say in fetal hemoglobin, after 8 weeks of intrauterine life, right, it starts. 8 weeks of, this is what is called as the intrauterine life. That is right from the day 1 till 8 weeks, there is no blood. So just within 2 months, the blood circulation starts. Right? So here it is. This hemoglobin F has come into picture. So now we'll be calling it as HbF. Right? So this HbF, this is what is present into the blood of the fetus. 90%. 90%. That is hemoglobin fetus. No doubt. Its importance is during the fetal life. So after the birth, its level will fall sharply, but still it will take about 2-3 months before it comes back. Right? So after birth, it is not so that this hemoglobin, fetal hemoglobin will immediately come down. No, it will take weeks to months. Right? Weeks to months. Right? It decreases. So it gradually decreases. And what about the adult? In us, in adults, we have got less than 1% of this hemoglobin F. Less than 1%. Almost very little. Its specialty is only one. It has got super affinity. Whenever we use the word affinity, affinity means having very special love, special attraction. That is the exact meaning of affinity. So it has got super attraction for oxygen. So that means even in there are thousands of molecules, but there is one oxygen molecule sitting, it will pick up. So that's why this has got tremendous affinity for the oxygen. And due to this, it picks up that oxygen, and that is used by the entire body. Because maternal circulation giving mixed blood. Or this is not right, that maternal circulation is giving mixed blood. Maternal circulation is giving good blood, but because of fetal circulation, the blood is getting mixed. So from maternal circulation to when the fetal circulation starts, fetal circulation comes, and the blood is mixed blood. Mixed blood. What I'm trying to say is, just draw very briefly the only small portion of it. We'll not be today discussing the what happens to atrial septal defect and what happens to all these foramen ovale, etc. But why I said that this is a mixed. See, here it is. This is the fetus, and here is the placenta. Placenta. That's the heart of this fetus. The blood is coming from here to here. It is anything which is coming towards. We'll see everything with respect to fetus. So anything which is coming towards the fetus. So this means this will be the umbilical vein. It's the vein which is coming, which is carrying the oxygen. Obviously vein, because for us, so it is coming from mother. Mother is breathing, so that oxygen is coming. So we get that oxygen over here. So it is coming inside. When it comes inside, now let's take it like this. So here is the liver. Liver feels like, yeah, this is for me. So send the blood to me. And liver would use everything. There is no oxygen. All the oxygen used up. Liver would say, I need to do the metabolism. So it will take the entire oxygen. And then via hepatic veins, it will put it into the vena cava. It will put it into this vena cava and will say, take this blood. Now, the blood which is coming over here, it is not having any oxygen. So this vena cava will say, okay, I'll be putting into the right atrium, but what should I do with them? There is no oxygen. So that's why there is a bypass system. So what it will do, it will create one channel and it will say that आधा blood यहाँ पे directly and it goes into this vena cava. So this is what is, there is a special duct which has been, this is called as the ductus venosus. A special duct has been, so which will bypass half of the blood and it will place directly into the vena cava so that at least some blood. So this is the point. This is the point where there is a mixed blood. Now liver is also right. Liver has to metabolize. So liver will say that I need to use this oxygen. But this is now this mixed blood. That is what will go into the right atrium to left atrium, because it goes via the foramen ovale, because heart, lungs are not functioning. You can see that portion of fetal circulation later. But the point is, it is this mixed blood which keeps on getting circulated, and that's why the hemoglobin F is needed, which has got tremendous ability or the affinity for this. From fetus it will come back to mother. From fetus come back to mother. No, say by the time when it comes, it is utilized by the entire body. So this will be going out. Let me finish this entire so that there is no confusion. So I am taking the full entire circulation so that we put the blood back into the mother. Stop the questions. We are taking on. So from right atrium, now we'll draw it on another page. So here it is. Wait. So here is the right atrium. So that mixed blood comes over here. That mixed blood, this is the tricuspid valve. This is the right ventricle. From right ventricle, if it try to go to lungs, the baby is entirely dipped into the amniotic fluid, right? Baby just can't breathe because the lungs, they are literally soaked into water, right? So lungs, these are completely out. Now think from what we have learned in this part. When the lungs, they are totally shrunken, that means there will be tremendous pulmonary vascular resistance. Are you understanding what I'm telling? Because the alveoli will be totally shrunk. When the alveoli are shrunk, so because of that hypoxia, right? You remember there was oxygen triggered potassium channels. So those channels, they will not be working. So that means none of the vessels would be dilated. Everyone would be shrunken. If it is shrunken, right, because the lung itself is into the water, so there is no point in sending any of the blood over here, so that we need to shut this pulmonary trunk. There's no point in sending anything to pulmonary trunk, because what's the point? Because when lungs are not doing any oxygenation. So that's why what nature has done is, nature has created a bypass. Nature said, forget why to send the blood over here. Let's make a pathway. So from right atrium, the blood straight away goes into the left atrium. And there is a hole, and it is called as the foramen ovale, because its shape is oval. So it is called as the foramen ovale. So blood from right atrium, it goes into the left atrium. And from left atrium again, the entire, after the blood is moved, does lungs have, when the lungs are totally into the water, it is into amniotic fluid. Entire baby is into amniotic fluid. Right? Amniotic fluid. So it is just fluid. So there is no possibility that in lungs anything is there. There is not a single molecule of air into lungs. Lungs are totally down. Right? So this is from an oval, right? From the shape. From an oval or ovalicity. So in most of the cardiology book, you'll be finding foramen oval. Okay, so here it is. That's the foramen oval. From left atrium, the path would be from here. It will go to the left ventricle. From left ventricle, it will go to aorta, right? And the blood is circulating. But there would be still some blood which will be escaping into the right ventricle. There will be some blood, right? And that blood, when it will try to go, so over here, it is total waste. So why this blood to be wasted? So what really happens is, from pulmonary trunk, there develops one another duct. There develops one another duct. Right? This duct which is carrying blood from pulmonary trunk to aorta is called as the ductus arteriosus. Ductus arteriosus. All these extra things after the birth, they all close. Right? So, we have seen actually three things. We have seen three things. One is the ductus venosus. Then we saw that foramen oval. And then this is the ductus arteriosus. So, from aorta, things they start moving. Now, from aorta, the branch up, right? So, blood will be going to brain, neck, right? It will go down and it will blood to thorax and abdomen and pelvis and upper limb and lower limb, and it's all going good. How the blood group get? Where is the blood group? This is a pure blood which we are picking up. Here the blood group is not getting separated. It is this placenta, whatever the things which are coming from placenta, that is. Say when the mother is negative and this is positive, the erythroblastosis fetalis and all those things, that we'll see later, not right now, because we'll be deviating from the topic fully and completely. Right? So we'll not be discussing any blood group right now. It will be a separate topic in which the erythroblastosis fetalis will come. That is when the first child is fine, sensitivity has developed, and if the care is not taken, then the second child will be having the jaundice, and for the rest of the life, it will be having immune system problems. There can be the vision problem. Right? So we'll see those things when we'll be actually discussing those topics in hematology. So right now, if you are knowing it, good, but else we are not just discussing right. So from aorta, it comes, it goes to lower limb. But then as the aorta goes down, it divides into two parts, right? Even in real, right? It is the, say, common iliac, right common iliac and left common iliac. And then it divides into external iliac and internal iliac. It is this internal iliac, right and left, internal iliac. They will be returning the blood all the way to the placenta. And they are called what? They are umbilical arteries. Why arteries? Because they are coming out from the aorta. So there are two umbilical arteries, and they will be winding around. Right? They will be like a helix. Right? So they will be winding around. This is what is the formation of umbilical cord. So in umbilical cord, it will be like this. Will be wind around. That's in umbilical cord. We'll be having umbilical cord. We find two umbilical arteries, which is carrying the carbon dioxide. This is placenta, so that is carried, and one umbilical vein, which will be carrying the oxygen from the mother, and the circulation keeps on going. After birth, foramen ovale gets closed, ductus arteriosus degenerates, ductus venous degenerates, right? And even these umbilical arteries, they also degenerate. External iliac, these are arteries, right? External iliac artery, internal iliac artery. This is what is called as the common iliac artery. So when we'll be discussing the anatomy, but this is in general, that is when the aorta comes, right? Aorta comes all the way, thorax, right? It gives branches, intercostal branches. It comes still down, it comes into the abdomen. That is where it will give the celiac trunk and superior mesenteric, inferior mesenteric. Still comes down, right? That is where it will be supplying to the pelvis and the reproductive organs. So that is where it will be dividing into the common iliacs, right? So right common iliac and the left common iliac. Then those common iliacs, once again, they will be dividing into external and internal. Actually, I made one mistake. It has to be internal iliac, right? Now it is internal iliac. Because this external iliac, that will continue as a femoral artery, right? Femoral artery. And this is the femoral artery which will be going all the way into the legs, and it will be then dividing and giving this femoral artery, profunda femoris, and then it will be giving like tibial, all those branches all the way up to the dorsalis pedis, that is up to the foot, right? When that arch is made. So it will be going to lower leg. Yeah, what we repeat blood circulation from placenta to okay, right? But this is how it really goes. So that means what we have understood is, right, very quickly, another color, just quickly go through this. See, this is the placenta. From placenta, let's take it here first, right? This is the placenta. That's the umbilical vein, right? So this is umbilical cord. Right? This is umbilical cord. So from umbilical cord, umbilical vein, it enters, and then as it enters over here, right? First, it will be going into the liver. Right? This is the liver. As it goes into the liver, but there is one division, right? Division. So it divides into two parts. So one goes into the liver uses that oxygen, whatsoever is given to it, finished, right? And then that carbon dioxide, it is released into the hepatic vein. That hepatic vein which joins inferior vena cava. That vena cava which will be entering the right atrium. But there is one bypass, and that bypass is the ductus venosus. From ductus venosus, this is the umbilical vein, which is having pure must oxygen. That oxygen, it is carried, but at this point things are mixed, because the hepatic vein has put that blood in which there is no oxygen. Oxygen has been utilized by liver, because liver is our very important organ and it has got so many functions. So it is the mixed blood which is over here, and that mixed blood, it goes into the right atrium. From right atrium, there is a wall. This is what is called as the atrial septum, interatrial septum, right? So interatrial septum, name itself is telling, right, that it is the septum which is between two atria, right atrium, left atrium. So this is one septum. But in fetus, there is one hole, right? It is not fully completed, right? There is hole which is kept. Then when the baby cries first time, right, when the lung pressure, pulmonary vascular pressure, right, that decreases, so the blood gushes into it. So here the right atrium, the pressure decreases, right? So now the left atrium pressure increases. So it will, when blood will try to go back, this hole, it will automatically be blocked, right? Because there is a tissue which acts as a one-way valve. More when we'll talk, actually, when I'll show you the images, right? The real images taken with the help of echocardio. So you will be able to see that how this foramen ovale looks like. Why it happened? Because it is like a wall, right? So when the blood is going from this to opposite direction, this is exactly like, right, those flapping doors. When they say they open only on one side, so this is like a flap. So if I am on right atrium side and opposite is left atrium, so blood will easily, right? Blood will easily. But when it will try to go back, so then it is stopped, right? It won't be able. This will be acting like a wall. Fetal heartbeat sound different than ours? Yeah, it is pretty different. Very fast. It's very fast. When the baby is born, if the score, if the heartbeat is less than 100, so it is considered as bad. It has to be more than 100. In fact, it goes much more, and it is very fast. Okay, so left atrium, from left atrium, it goes to left ventricle to aorta, and it goes circulation. But why to waste any blood? So even that small amount of blood which has, why are you asking such question? More than 100 is tachycardia. Tachycardia is what? What is tachycardia? Don't ask questions for the sake of asking. It is for adults, right? Please read I know you are very intelligent, right? But sometimes if you kindly read the whole thing properly, right? And the spelling is, it is tachycardia, correct? It is not the trachycardia. The actual definition is when it is more than 100 for adult. So this is the blood which escapes into right ventricle, because it happens like, because this is the tricuspid valve. That valve gets opened and some of the blood escapes. Body tells no, every drop is important. So the blood which has escaped into the pulmonary trunk, there is a bypass, right? I'll show you the actual images, right? Actual images taken from the echocardiogram. You'll be surprised. I have drawn it such big, right? The real size of pulmonary, this ductus arteriosus is this much. Is this much. It is this small, right? It is just this, even less than this one finger piece, right? One digit. So that is, but this is for understanding. That blood is bypassed. So this is what is called as the ductus arteriosus. And ductus arteriosus is such a fantastic thing. There is no wall, right? We'll be discussing it in superb detail when we'll talk about this fetal circulation. But just understand, over here, this foramen ovale was having wall. So it makes sense. When the blood tries to go back, it will stop, right? It will stop. There is no wall in ductus arteriosus. So ductus arteriosus, it is under the chemical control, prostaglandins. And who is releasing that prostaglandin? That is released by placenta. Just you can excuse me. Just I'll be back in 30 seconds. Just. What I was explaining. Ductus arteriosus, prostaglandins, right? Prostaglandins. So that is what is released by placenta once you remove the placenta, right? Because when the umbilical cord is cut after birth, umbilical cord is cut. So now the placenta is not in connection, right? So there is no prostaglandin, a chemical which is released from the placenta. So as the prostaglandin stops, this ductus arteriosus starts shrinking. Why we talked about this? Because in some cases, if this is open, if it is not closing, so that is called as patent ductus arteriosus. All these things, they are part of the congenital heart disease. So when it remains open, that means in pulmonary trunk, in you and me, this is where the carbon dioxide is there. Aorta, where there is pure oxygen. If there is a channel which is connecting both of them, right? So if it is a channel which is connecting both of them, so that means blood is getting mixed. The blood transport from ductus arteriosus and LA. Blood transports from pulmonary, this ductus arteriosus you're talking about, blood transport from ductus arteriosus and left atrium is how? I'm not getting it. I'm not getting, Urvashi, I'm not getting your question. So ductus arteriosus is transferring the blood from pulmonary trunk to aorta, right? There is no heart chamber coming in, right? Aorta is coming out of left ventricle and then it goes. Right? So after birth, there is no need, so this thing gets closed. This thing gets closed. Right? So that right heart is right side, left heart is left side, there is no mixing of blood. But when there is any problem, whether this is like a heart may hole, right? So that means either there is atrial septal defect, ventricular septal defect. When this aorta is emerging from incorrect chamber, when the patent ductus arteriosus is open, foramen ovale which should close, it is not closing and it is remaining open. For both the way, the blood transport, ductus arteriosus. From both the ways means you can just speak of. I'm not getting that. What exactly are you trying to ask? Both the ways, the blood transport, ductus arteriosus and LA. I mean, okay, I think, are you asking this question? That will the blood be going from this path also and will be going from this path also? If that is the question, true. Exactly. So yeah. But the amount of blood which will be passing from right atrium to left atrium via foramen ovale, that will be like 95%. Right? Even more than 95%. Yahan se with the blood which is going via this, it is very small amount. Very small amount. But yes, every drop counts. So that's why why to waste. Right? So that's why it will be going from, yes, both the path. So that none of the blood can really go to lungs because lungs are into water. So no way any of the blood is to be sent over there, right? And this is what is called as the fetal circulation. So we started with this discussion because we wanted to emphasize that yes, it is very important. There has to be a super affinity for oxygen. PDA is closed. PDA. We should not use the word PDA. PDA stands for patent. Patent means something which is always remaining. Patent ductus arteriosus. So this ductus arteriosus, right? This ductus arteriosus, if it remains open, so then it is called as patent, right? Otherwise, it is not patent. It is closed. It is fibrosed. But because even if it is fibrosed, still it can be seen in your heart, my heart. Yes, we can see that once upon a time there was a channel between pulmonary trunk and the aorta. Then it gets closed, right? Because there is no prostaglandin. So when prostaglandin is not released, gradually this ductus arteriosus goes. But for some reason, if it remains open, that condition, that pathological condition, that incorrect condition, or the congenital problem is called as patent ductus arteriosus. So don't worry, because there are congenital heart disease, it is divided into two parts, right? So it is like in which there is cyanosis, baby becomes blue, or in which baby is not becoming blue. What will happen if the blood goes to lung? It cannot go. दोस्त मेरे जाएगा कैसे? How will it go? When it is fully blocked, when it is loaded with simple, it is fully compressed. How will it go? There is fluid. When there is fluid, so there is no space. If there is no space, so how will blood? It just cannot, because both the lungs, they are totally compressed. It is when the baby cries for the first time and with the pressure, right? That pressure from the trachea, the pressure, right? It opens all the alveoli, but one by one they open, and the fluid starts shifting, right? That is when the circulation starts, and it takes everything. So that's why the first in 1 minute, the thing what is called is the Apgar score, right? When we'll be learning pediatrics, so we'll see that after birth, when the baby is born, we need to, for 1 minute and 3 minutes, we have to really check the baby. Multiple things we have to check. Right? I'm not taking all of them because then there will be so many questions. But one of the question is whether the baby is crying in first 1 minute or not. So if not, 1 minute hua, 2 minute hua, baby is not crying, just slap on the hips, on the butts, right? With full strength. You are doing so good for the baby because baby has to cry. If 3 minutes passes, the previous score was like 5 minutes, but no, within 5 minutes, the neurological damage starts. So that's why 2 minutes have passed, and if the baby is not crying, the baby is just grimacing, ऊपर नीचे हो रहा है, but baby is that typical if it is not happening full fledged, because it will generate strong pain signals, and it will trigger the cry, and when the cry triggers, so large amount of oxygen is done, you are successful. Otherwise, the trouble is umbilical cord has been cut, right? Now there is no blood. So whatever the oxygen which is inside, the brain is trying to survive. But if time goes more, so then that blood is not sufficient. Brain will go into the hypoxia. When brain goes into hypoxia, it is the brain death. And if the cells are damaged, one might not know, but when the patient becomes, say, when I'm not patient, when that baby becomes adult, or sometimes when you find that its landmarks, they are getting slow. Right? Even at the age of 1 year, you will find that such babies, they are not speaking. Chupchap baithe. Creation of God, that is the heads of. The day you learn the entire embryology, you feel that this is the most sophisticated system of the world. The medical is fascinating due to this reason. Totally agree. Okay. So we talked about hemoglobin A, right? That is adult hemoglobin A, hemoglobin A2, and the fetal hemoglobin. And then this fetal hemoglobin, it automatically starts decreasing, and the adult hemoglobin comes into picture. So all these are what? These are all globin chains. Globin is what? Protein. So these are the protein chains, right? Because of them, everything is happening. But what if these protein chains, they go wrong? Something goes wrong. So we have, like, say we were having that alpha chain, we were having that beta chain. What if anything goes wrong to this alpha chain? If alpha chain goes wrong, so that is what is called as the underproduction, decreased production of this alpha chain. So that is what is called as the alpha thalassemia. You must have heard this name, alpha thalassemia. This is a congenital disorder in which it's a hemolytic disorder. Blood flows, right? Blood flows non-stop. So this is a hemolytic disorder. Very painful. So many complications. The blood cells, they start breaking. So this is what is called as alpha thalassemia. This is a very important disease. What if this beta goes down? Now, in order to understand this thing, we need to go into the details of what is in genetics, right? Dominant and recessive. So because this is beta is on recessive, so there are two genes, right? There are two genes. So if one gene is affected, so that is what is called as the beta thalassemia minor. So this is what is called as the beta thalassemia minor. Now, in case of beta thalassemia minor, patients will not be having any symptom. It develops only when it becomes some major. That means when both the genes are affected, right? Two genes affected. Right? So when two genes are affected, so it will be major. In that case, full-fledged symptoms they will develop. When it is minor, so minor, only one gene is affected. One gene is affected. Sometimes when we say that people say, okay, kundali milate, matchmaking, this, that. What if someone is having beta thalassemia minor, so that means that person is a carrier, right? There are no sign and symptoms, looks wise, everything totally okay. But then say instead of kundali, it has to be like karyotype. Ideally, if this is done, there will be no it in advance that whether this couple, because see, it happens like if there is a problem in one specific gene in both of them, that 100% their kid will be having multiple problems. 100%. Right? Genetic engineering and genetic mapping is so powerful. And there is a complete mathematics behind it. Right? This is something which I'll be teaching to my USMLE students tomorrow, right? In which there'll be heavy maths. I told them, you just get your calculators ready, because you have to really calculate that, okay, this is something which is happening. In this case, there is a brown eye, this is a blue eye, and this many patients, they are developing this type of problem. And then what is the probability that the baby would be born to be having what complications? No, right now, those students, so they are like they have completed their MBBS and they are on the verge of appearing for exam. So for you guys, when I'll be starting USMLE, that would be a separate batch where we'll be starting right from the beginning. Yeah, it's a paid class because it is. So I'll let you know the details. Right now, it is not needed. Right? Abhi to this is enjoy this, and it is in equal detail. Right? I'm not letting even the 1% of it. What I'm explaining there, same thing. Right? This and the third thing, this is what is called as the sickle. Sickle, you know, sickle cell anemia. This is called as sickle cell anemia. Sickle is घास काटने के लिए, you know, people cut grass with this, right? So that is what is called as the sickle, SR. No sign symptoms. SS stands for sign symptoms. Right? Sign symptoms. Symptoms means what? Symptoms mean what patient tells. Doctor साहब पेट में दर्द हो रहा है. That is symptom. And when you write that, okay, this is a patient of acute abdomen in which there is a pain in the left quadrant. So that is what you are writing. That is called as the sign. When you say that there is a rebound phenomenon. Rebound phenomenon means when you press, there is no pain, and when you take your hand out, and then there is pain. Right? So this is what is elicited by the doctor, and this is what is by the patient. When we say no SS, no sign symptoms, so neither doctor nor patient is complaining that I'm having any trouble. Nothing. Right? So it means patient will be having normal life. But genetically, there is a trouble. So if she conceives with someone who is also a carrier, so then there are 50% chances that they will be having, say, a baby which will be like a liability. No, don't worry. Just see, you are asking so many times. I'm not replying. We'll be having the USMLE lecture, so in which I'll be explaining you that how to register, what to do, every detail. Right? That thing is one-time registration in US, and it is valid for all life. It is not so that will be disqualified, or if you don't appear in this much time, that much time, nothing doing. Right? How to check all of your colleges? They are into WDOMS, World Directory of Medical Schools. All your colleges, they are registered, but from that you have to pick up a FAMR number, right? And that FAMR number, that is what you have to enter that application form. Once you apply, that's it. Now you are eligible for the step 1 exam. You have to pay only when you are appearing for step 1 exam. You book the exam, right? When you book the exam, and then the dates and everything. Easier, I would say, see, my students, they have not failed. But if you say, is it easier? I would say, yes, it is easy if you understand these concepts well. If anyone is of the habit of cramming, I'm telling right from the beginning, don't even think of it. Don't even. USMLE, one cannot cram. Why I'm showing you those X-rays? Right? I'll be showing you, trust me, not less than 1,000 X-rays by your second year. Not less than 1,000 X-rays. So that your eyes, they get trained. Because over there, you are getting just 1.5 minutes to diagnose. So you have to be that fast. So in USMLE exam, so once you have to pass my exam, right? I conduct 3 exams. So you have to pass in all 3 exams. Then and then you go for the real exam. Before that, I won't let you go for that real exam. So because this is the policy, whether I'm teaching my engineering students or my medical students. Easier to know. I'll be giving my when I get into John Hopkins after. See, for the John Hopkins, I'll answer this question in more detail regarding the John Hopkins. You can go into MJ Anderson. No worries, one can. I teach engineering. I teach cybersecurity. I'm part of cybersecurity division of. So this is the answer to all of you. English is compulsory. Dosto, English is compulsory. So even if, right, without कोई शर्म रखे बिना बोलना शुरू करो. Seriously, right? English is compulsory. You should be able to communicate properly. You get fantastic score in step 1, step 2. But if you don't pay attention to the communication skills, step 3, भगा देंगे बात. Because they would say, if you can't talk to the patient, then what's the point? If you cannot convey yourself properly, so you are not eligible to become. And say if मुझे था, I was expecting this question. Wait. See, I'm giving you one example. Yeah, just but I'm sorry for that, but ये example देना चाहिए. This is, yes, I'm talking about listening. This example which I'm giving of my engineering student. That guy, he came at the age of 34. His age was 34. And he was speaking in pure Gujarati language. He said, sir, it is impossible. I'm speaking in English, but he said in Gujarati that ek word bhi nahi. I mean, so much so that in networking, there are routers, there are switches, there are firewalls, right? So he used to write router like that way. He was unable to write it like this. It took him, so normally the CCNA, Cisco Certified Network Associate, this is one of the exams, which is by Cisco Systems. Cisco Systems is one of the most reputed company in the world. So that exam, normally my students, they clear in the span of 3 months. He failed on the first attempt. Cost of the exam is 25,000 rupees. He failed on the first attempt, right? Very depressed. But his concepts were good. So I told him, he was having that kid of a girl of some 3 years. I said, iske liye padho. He worked for 6 months on English and the engineering English, right? So over here also, I'll be insisting that you need to speak a medical English. No one will be telling that you give lectures on some other stuff. No, but your medical English, that should be. You should be knowing that which word to be used in what way, how to talk with the patient, right? Because behavioral science is one of the topic, one of the subject of USMLE, right? It is one of the topic, one of the subject, big subject. It took me, say, 18 hours. 18 hours of lecture was given to my USMLE students, finished last Friday only. So it goes into that depth because you need to understand the behavior of a patient, right? So it is not only the communication. But this guy, after 6 months, he appeared, he cleared, and then he learned another 4 degrees from me. And right now he is into my city, right? He is currently into Sydney. Yesterday I got his message. Sir, I am in Ahmedabad and I want to come to meet you. When can I come? Right? And he said that I am into Sydney now. He is in Hewlett Packard. He is the project manager, and he said that 88, 88 white people they are working under. He said, fantastic. This is something which is. He is drawing a salary of over $20,000. Right? No doubt. This thing is 7 years back. Right? But imagine in 7 years, the person can reach to that level. That is when he's like a boss in Sydney, Hewlett Packard, and these 88 people, they are working under. He's a project leader, right? In 7 years, he reached to that level. If he can, then can't you? It is just a matter. This is also the answer to many of the students, those who are doubting you. Right? Kyun doubt karo? People would say anything. People would, I'm not taking anyone's name, right? As I promised, I won't be taking anyone's name. But yes, right, I wanted to talk to you. But the thing is, why? Why are you doubting this? मतलब give your heart and soul. Give your heart and soul. जो है देखा जाए. मतलब when you appear for the exam, कोई भी exam, whether it is your first year exam, second year exam, or your step 1, when you enter into the examination hall, be a lion or the lioness. कभी देखा है जंगल में? Have you been, sir? Say when we were in Masai Mara, that is in Africa. Right? I am as a photographer of National Geographic. That's my hobby. So we were over there. We were stationed for 3 weeks, and we made a film on that. But we used to talk about it that this lion, when he moves, right, all we need to learn from that lion is that see any number of animals, but the way he walks, that is the, he declares that boss, I am the boss. Right? This should be the attitude. When we say develop the attitude, so attitude na अच्छे के, in a better way. Right? Not that कि मैंने 3,000 रुपए का टी-शर्ट पहना है and मैंने ये shoes means I'm against those brands. छोड़ यार, मतलब develop this. Outer looks कुछ नहीं. It really doesn't matter. Steve Jobs, if you see, मतलब simple into that Apple conference, the annual Apple conference. I was associated with Apple, right, based on that engineering. Yeah, I acquired 23 international degrees in IT. So I was with Steve Jobs. So over there, right, when we used to talk on that, right, a simple jeans and t-shirt, no extra. He could have afford anything, no? No. Work for your brain, right? So develop this attitude. And to all those emails, yes, when you are doubting on yourself, it's not your fault. It is. Don't take me wrong, but it is the fault of teacher and parents. I offline तो अगर जो आप मुझे मिलो तो yes, मतलब मैं बोल ही रहा हूँ, I speak गाली also जब जरूरत पड़े. And I have given gali to few of my even female students also. दिमाग खराब है, मतलब जस्ट किसी ने इतना बोल दिया है जस्ट रोने बैठ गई. Correct? So, not in any wrong way, but it is like I feel bad, yeah. It is waste of the brain. God has given you such a lovely brain. Don't doubt on yourself, ever. And whatever happens for good. But give your heart and soul. कुछ भी हो जाए. Say, इस बात को तो बहुत टाइम हो गया, almost more than 2 months. How many of you are still sticking to that digital sannyas? सोने से पहले no cell phone for at least 30 minutes. It's not nice. बस 1, 2, that's it. 1, 2. I forgot. Son. Oh, 1 hour before. तो शाबाश, 2 hours. Dost, I am proud of you, Vishal. If it is actually 2 hours, no, I am proud of you. 1 hour, very nice. 1 hour, 30 minutes, they just good one. Anything, if you are at least half an hour, 1 hour, 30 minutes, shabash, shabash, shabash. I am happy. Bolo, when do you want to keep this lecture, fitness wala? Because if you are no social media accounts, yeah, me too, no social media. Good. Let me know when you want to have this lecture. Right? So in this, I'll be telling you more about your mental and the physical. Just let me. Whenever. See, those who are studying at night, right? Those who are studying at night, still what I do say is, say you are studying till, this I'm telling extreme. Let's say sometimes I keep on answering till 1 o'clock in the night, the emails. So then 1 baje tak kaam kiya na. So then sleep, then this for at least that 30 minutes, listen to some music. Say, in spite of using iPhones, see, this is a very, very sasta, right? This is just 400, 500 rupees, right? Even these headphones, they are also very basic, but I use this. It has put some music into that, आधे घंटे, and listen to this, because if the phone is there ना, तो कुछ ना कुछ, अरे ये मैसेज आया, अरे मार्केट में ये बड़ा, this rate has increased, decreased, you are distracted, right? So we never do that. So ठीक है, we'll keep it. On Saturday, we have lecture. हाँ, क्यों? Saturday को क्या है? This, I mean, we are meeting on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, no? No? So, is there anything? Ganesh Chaturthi? So we'll say na, Jai Ganpati Dada बोल के we'll start पढ़ाई. वो छुट्टी. Unless means there is some dire emergency ना, तो there is holiday. Otherwise, there won't be. यार last batch जो थी, हम दिवाली के दिन पढ़ाई, on the day of Diwali. And many of the students, they said that we are on to some, कहीं घूमने गए थे तो वहां से लॉगिन हो के स्टार्ट. क्या फर्क पड़ता है यार, 1-1.5 घंटा तो पढ़. So बिल्कुल बिंदास, कोई छुट्टी नहीं. Every day we'll study. So that's why I said it totally depends on. So we stop these lectures only when we find the presence going low. When it goes low, so then we feel like that if students are not interested, so then let's stop. Till that point, it would never be stopped from my side. And it would never be charged. Right? It would always be free. So if you continue, so then all the way up to final MBBS, I'll teach you. Those personal training, that is just very small, right? 25 or 30. But that is a completely different level. Okay. So sickle cell anemia, this is a sickle cell anemia in which there is increased hemolysis. The blood cells, they start breaking. When the blood cells, they break, then person develops jaundice, right? Say na Jai Ganpati Dada. Okay. So there is increased hemolysis, that is the blood cells break. That's right, Ved. Right? So because of this abnormal shape, in our spleen is a super fine system. In spleen, there is a red pulp and white pulp. So in that, it is like a filter. It is like a jali through which the cells, they have to pass. So if the cells, see how wonderful the system is. If the cells are absolutely healthy, right? if they are of proper shape. So that means they are very flexible also, so they'll be able to squeeze through this very easy. As the cells they grow old, those cells they become stiff. When they become stiff, so they are caught. यहाँ पे पकड़े गए, right? And then, like that video game, that macrophage is coming और आके खा गया. Cell destroyed, right? So if the cell is of sickle shape, right, such cell, so that cell won't be able to squeeze through it. तो वो यहाँ पे अटक गया cell. वो cell यहाँ पे अटक गया, यहाँ पे रुक गया. That macrophage will come and eat it. So it will break that cell. That is what is called as the hemolysis. Lysis means break. Lysis means breaks. And when the cell breaks, so that the substance it comes out, right? Then it leads to that jaundice and all the complications. So this is what really happens. Their life is also this. The 120 days life of a normal healthy cell, cells of these sickle cells, that is also depending upon what level. So over here, it is this Fe. Right? That is where we drew that entire structure. Right? So it is this iron, that is where the oxygen binds. And ring which was around we drew the whole thing, collectively it is the porphyrin ring. Then is bound that one. Now in this, there is one wonderful concept. And that concept is, it is what is called as a slightly long name, but it is called as the 2,3 bisphosphate. 2,3 bisphosphate. And this bisphosphate, when it gets combined with glycerol, so it leads to this final, it is in short called as the 2,3 BPG, which is the abbreviation of 2,3 bisphosphoglycerate. This is what is used. And the function of it is, see the typical function. Its function is, it kicks hemoglobin. Lat marta hai. So hemoglobin is doing what? Hemoglobin is bichara carrying the oxygen, right? It goes and kicks this hemoglobin. So when it kicks, so this oxygen, it is released. Oxygen hemoglobin ke haath se chhoot. So then this oxygen is picked up by tissues. Right? They will be using. So this 2,3 bisphosphoglycerate, how effective will it be? Because when near the tissues, so this 2,3 bisphosphoglycerate will say, chal hemoglobin khali kar, right? Give the oxygen. The hemoglobin will say, le jao, right? All the oxygen, it is released in the tissue. Otherwise, what would happen? This is the blood which is flowing. In that, there are RBCs. These RBCs, they are having hemoglobin. And this hemoglobin, it is carrying this oxygen. और यहाँ पे टिश्यू बोल रहा है कह रहे यार लाओ ऑक्सीजन एंड ये बगैर वो चला गया. So not a good thing. Right? So this is where 2,3 bisphosphoglycerate will come to they, right? To then get oxygen. So the importance of, technically speaking, really speaking, 2,3 bisphosphoglycerate, what it does is, we will not speak in viva that it kicks hemoglobin, right? This is true. But it promotes oxygen release from hemoglobin. And the logic tells that this oxygen release from hemoglobin is needed when you are near the tissues, right? So that tissues can use. Fair enough, right? So that's why the function of 2,3 bisphosphoglycerate is to increase oxygen delivery to tissues. How easy? Not at all complicated. It's practical use. I told you that many of the runners and many of the marathon runners, so what they do is they go at a very high altitude. They go to Kenya, but Kenya is at a height. So in Nairobi, Mombasa, right, you'll find that so many runners are there. Now, because they are at a higher altitude, at high altitude, the oxygen is released more, right? Because as I said, there is less oxygen. So there is more bisphosphoglycerate, that is 2,3-bisphosphoglycerate at high altitude. Right? Otherwise, you know it very well that as the oxygen concentration is low, so then this blood won't release the oxygen near the tissue. You say, I'm not yet saturated. I got even more strength. Allow oxygen. So it is that EPG which will say that tissue has come. So that's what is called as the conditioning of the body. So as you start going at the height gradually, right, your body starts getting conditioned. This is one of the components when the body is getting conditioned. So when I said I missed that, showing you that mask. Right? So there is a mask which many times we practice. You put the mask, then you shut the valve. This is the reason we feel breathless at high altitude for some time. Yeah, when we were at Mansaro, right? I took the entire team. We were at the Mansaro, and so all those civilians. Sometimes when you tell that no one would run, there was one girl, and we were near the Gauri Parvat, and she said, no, I'm very fit, and she started running. As she started running, right, so I was quite behind, and there were so many other people, and this girl, suddenly, she fell, and then started chilling. We all rushed to that point, and it was found that because of severe hypoxia, right, she was so breathless that the brain was getting dead. Yes. So she was airlifted, and we went to Nepal, right? We went to Kathmandu, and she was treated. Luckily, China was saved, and she could see again. But this is what can really happen. So breathlessness, yes, it can have even other effects. 2,3-bisphosphate, it helps in athletes because 2,3-bisphosphate will teach the blood to release more oxygen near the tissues, right? 2,3-bisphosphate, what we said, it increases oxygen delivery to tissue. So when you are running, right, your tissues, your muscles, they are requiring more oxygen. So when they are requiring more oxygen, if anything can be done so that your tissues, they get more oxygen, so that is where the advantage. So today it rained very heavily. We went for the run, but it was of just 5 kilometers. This 5-kilometer run was a very high-speed run, and that also onto the road when the roads are pretty slippery. So when you practice this in such conditions, so your body starts balancing very properly. Right? So that balance, when you go for a good balance, so that develops your core muscles, because the entire balance of the body is with the help of core muscles. Right? That's right now I'm in Gujarat. So that is the importance of 2,3-DPG or 2,3-bisphosphoglycerate. And this is important. This is important for the body because RBCs, they are not understanding anything. Right? RBCs, they don't have mitochondria. They don't have mitochondria. No mitochondria, that means they don't know how to use oxygen. They don't know how to use oxygen, so that means whatever the oxygen which they are carrying, it is for tissues. They can't use it by themselves. How do they get energy? Because RBC is a live thing. Right? It will need something for the energy. So that energy is obtained by glycolysis. This is the anaerobic system, and in which the final product is pyruvate. We learned that in biochemistry. That is how the whole thing starts with glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, right? Then glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, it becomes 1,3-bisphosphate. It becomes 1,3-bisphosphate, right? And then from 1,3-bisphosphate or the bisphosphoglycerate, it becomes a small portion. It becomes 2,3-bisphosphoglycerate. it is this which is getting used. But in order to use that thing, you will need this phosphoglycerate mutase. Mutase is, it is an enzyme, so it cuts some portion of 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate into 2,3-bisphosphoglycerate. One position is changed. So this is something which is released, which is used for the tissues to release oxygen. So now tissues, they are requiring oxygen, but what if tissues are not requiring oxygen? It is exactly like that in your bank there is money, but if you don't want to spend, there is no need. It is not so that still you will keep on getting, say, withdrawing the money from it. So that is when you cut it. So this is what is called as the negative feedback mechanism. If not needed, don't do it. If needed, then do it. So this is the level of BPG mutase. The moment it is said that now tissues are not requiring oxygen, BPG mutase will stop functioning. It will stop functioning, so then this is gone. So that means 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate will continue its journey. It will become 3-phosphoglycerate. So one has gone. So now it is only 1 phosphoglycerate. So it becomes 3-phosphoglycerate. It changes one position. It becomes 2-phosphoglycerate. Right? 2-phosphoglycerate. In fact, we have done the entire thing, this glycolysis process almost on the verge of. So 2-phosphoglycerate. 2-phosphoglycerate will be converted into phosphoenol pyruvate. What is called as the phosphoenol pyruvate. And then the last stage, that is the pyruvate itself, or the pyruvic acid. Right? Pyruvate or the pyruvic acid. And this is what gives energy. Right? So this is like deviation from the glycolysis. This entire thing is now called as the glycolysis. Though this is a part of biochemistry. We'll study which food source help you increase. It is a natural production. Right? It is natural production. It is increased or decreased by your exercise, right? How you condition your body. Foods, well, there is no specific food which will increase this BPG. There is no such food. The trouble with people is it is not 2,3 BPG. BPG is in any case, it is an automatic process. It keeps on getting increased. The trouble is the hemoglobin level itself is so low. The hemoglobin level is low. So then the oxygen which is getting carried, that itself is low. So what this BPG will? As such, if the hemoglobin level is low, as such, less oxygen is getting carried. Right? Mine is 16.7 hemoglobin. I'm pure veg, not even eggs. Absolutely 100% pure veg. Never smoked, never alcohol. 60%. Donated over 100 times. Blood donation, 100 times plus. And it is good to donate. Not I'm telling from that perspective. I'm telling you to be selfish. Forget about what is happening. Be selfish. Right? Yes, there is so much of demand. If you come to blood bank with me, I'll show you that how much is the demand. People are crying. And the donation is not even what the requirement is 100%, and what we are getting is 4%. It is good, very good for your body. Just you have to be a bit patient and mentally stable. Reason? Because it is when you donate the blood, 375 ml of blood is taken out. 375 ml. Now, in 375 ml goes out of your body, you will feel something. It happens. It's just to test. I did even one half marathon also, 21-kilometer run. Immediately after donating, I ran and could successfully complete. But say, initially when you donate, you will feel some weakness. But within, say, 72 hours, your liver will once again put that blood into the system. Once again, it will put into the system. Because liver fires back. So when you are donating regularly and taking, say, proper food, I mean, no junk, no this pizza, pasta, absolutely nothing. In fitness program, I'll let you know about all these things. It is very simple diet, very easy to follow. And कई बार कहते हैं कि हम इस देश में रहते हैं. Still, I'll talk to you because for any of the medical problems, right? I won't be taking anyone's name also, and I'll talk to you. One, yes, you can donate, but there are some conditions. You can donate, not that you cannot. But yeah, थोड़ा ध्यान रखना. And trust me, for any of all those mails which you have sent, I never ever take. Do we get paid for donating? क्या दोस्त, इतना खराब क्वेश्चन क्यों पूछा? We donate. Donate का मतलब क्या होता है? What do we mean by donate? Donate means donate. क्या पैसा? मत कर यार, ऐसा मजाक भी मत कर. It breaks my heart. I got tremendous respect for all of you, but ऐसे सवाल मत पूछ. Bad. मजाक का लेवल होता है. So the hemoglobin is of two types. One, what is called as the taut. T-A-U-T. Taut matlab tight. So, but you can remember it like tissues. T for tissues. It is very easy to remember. It's called as the taut form. Taut form is, it has got thoda akdu, right? So it has low love for oxygen. Oxygen it is type. And second is, this is the relaxed form of human. It loves oxygen. So it holds the oxygen. So how wonderful the system is. In the tissues, when the lungs are there, so this R form, this is called as the R form. That above one is called as the T form. Right? This is called as the T form. So when it comes to lungs, right, this relaxed one will take right out, right. So it will take the oxygen, and then it will start traveling. When it will reach to the tissues, this taut form will say, "Kya karna hai oxygen? Chodo, right? Jane do." So that is where it will come into picture and it will release. So this is how the entire body works, right? In such a fine tune, this is like an orchestra, like a music. So I think the topic is still very long. Let's do one thing. Today we just stop at this point. Next time we'll go for this revision, and then we'll be taking all the way to finish the topic. Yes. I don't want to take this topic like in a rush. I stay in India, right? All right. So I'll put this file into our shared folder, but next time we'll be continuing from here on. Right? We'll write it in this file only. All right. So thank you so much. Physics, chemistry फिर से ले रही है उम्मीद. All right. Where can I get save file? Urvashi, I think you joined for the first time. Is it so? आज X-ray नहीं. Today there is no X-ray. Because I was under impression कि अपने ये topic करना. But next time I'll show you good X-rays. अच्छा, take this email, Urvashi. Take this email. This one. This is the contact. Right? Till you are mbbs@gmail.com. Just send a mail to me. I'll send you a link, and in that link you just click all the files, all the PDFs in this file. All right. Thank you so much, and take care.
Thank you, sir.
Jai Mata Di. Thank you.